Hello there, everybody. As always, I am the Gentleman Snark. Now, I know it's been a while since we've done reviews on this channel, but hey, guess what? We're gonna make a comeback right now, and our comeback begins with One Piece Chapter 894. And gotta say, there's a lot of stuff we gotta talk about here. So let's just get right up into it. But before that, if you happen to like what you see here, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, now let's get into this. So already, we're just continuing from last week's chapter, where we pretty much have Luffy and Yamato kind of on the run from Kaido's men. We see that Page 1 and Ulti managed to pretty much get up really quick, like I don't even think even 10 minutes passed since they kind of got quote-unquote one-shotted in the last chapter. So I gotta say, with that recuperation time, it's pretty much confirmed that Ulti and Page 1 at the very least are awakened. And if they are awakened, I'm pretty sure every single Zoan user above them is also awakened as well. Like I'm just calling it like I see it at this point. But more importantly, when we go back to see exactly what Yamato and Luffy are up to, a fight just breaks out. And all of a sudden, Luffy is now fighting Yamato, which begs the question as to why, because, you know, Luffy sensed that in the last chapter, Yamato meant absolutely no harm to him. But now they're fighting only because Yamato's trying to take Luffy away so they can have a private discussion. But Luffy, being the guy that he is, that's a man on a mission, he's like, I don't got time to deal with your side quest. I gotta take down Kaido right now. And if you're going to get in my way, then I'm gonna take you down first. So I really like how Luffy is learning to prioritize certain missions and whatnot. He's just like, Kaido first, everything else can just stand by the wayside. So really like that aspect there. Gotta say, it looked a little bit that now Luffy's kind of running on empty, considering that in one of the pages we do see that he was getting a little bit tired when he was breathing heavily after that elephant gun. But after we see that clash, I'm pretty dang sure that Luffy still has a lot left in the tank as far as, you know, fighting energy goes. So now we cut away to where we see both Jinbe and Nico Robin have successfully infiltrated Kaido's men in toward Momonosuke's execution. So already we know that at least someone managed to infiltrate Kaido's ranks and men to kind of see what the heck's going on. At least somebody managed to get in there. Now, Robin is pretty much asking Jinbe, all right, so we're here. What do we do now? Momonosuke looks like he's suffering. And Jinbe's like, we kind of gotta wait on the samurais. Once they move, then we move. But right now, we're just gonna keep incognito. And I have to say how it's kind of funny that nobody just, like, Robin, I understand. Robin blending in makes sense. But Jinbe, he's like nobody notices that they have a freaking fisherman in their groups. Like, Jinbe just looks so oddly placed in that situation. Like, I don't understand how they can't. Well, they're idiots. That's probably why. And they don't really care what's going on. But it's just kind of funny seeing Jinbe in that outfit. But more to his point to when he said that we move when the samurais move. The samurais are there. Now, it makes me question, what are they waiting for? Because, again, they're there. Momonosuke's there. Orochi is there. If they honestly, I'm kind of wondering, are they waiting for like a big explosion, some Deus Ex Machina? Like, what are they waiting for here? Because now is kind of the time to jump out and probably save Momonosuke. Kind of wondering what they're waiting on for, because we see the samurais there, plus the Yakuza boss also there, and they're really lying in wait, and we could tell that they really want to jump in and save Momonosuke like ASAP. So it really makes you wonder, okay, what are they waiting for? Are they waiting for the other team? Are they waiting for Lost Crew to get to the center of the island? And speaking of Lost Crew, Lost side, they managed to get past the pretty much raging waters, and with a quick room in shambles, Law and the rest of the Red Scabbards managed to get to the center of the island. Now, when we get to the center of the island, we're greeted by both Marco, Nekomamushi, and finally, Izo. Now, Izo, the question has to be made, where the heck was Izo during all of this? Because the only thing we've ever seen the Whitebeard crew really done is that after Marineford, they did a revenge war with Blackbeard. And needless to say, it didn't really go their way. But at least we saw Marco retire to some island to become a doctor. Izo, where did he go? Because Wano is his home country, so I figured he'd probably go back to his home country. But if he didn't go there, where was he this entire time? Did he not? A lot of questions surrounding the Whitebeard pirates and their role in Wano. it really comes up a subject of like what's going on there, like what have they been doing all this time, and what are they going to do now is the real main question. So obviously Kiku is very happy to see their brother or sister. I don't quite understand how that dynamic works, just kind of curious, but he's happy to see their sibling again, all that, their love, hugs, kisses, all that kind of stuff like that. I still want an explanation as to where Izo's been, but before we could even get any of that, Marco kind of pieces out saying that he saw a shadow in the water and he's going there to check it out. Now, obviously, the most basic answer is that that's probably Perospero slowly using his candy powers to kind of get back after being knocked off by Marco, but is it really? And the reason why I ask, is it really, is because there's a lot of unknown elements in Wano that keeps popping up a lot from time to time. So I wouldn't be surprised if what's in the water has probably not Perospero at all. It might be an entirely new enemy. For all we know, it could be a new Sea King that just pops out of nowhere. And the reason why I mentioned the whole Sea King aspect is because one of the things that we've never got an answer to since the beginning of this arc, at least I think we never got an answer to, is if y'all remember when they first went to Wano and they had to pretty much go up the waterfall and they all decided to peace out of Sunny because they didn't know whether or not the ship would survive, Luffy stayed behind because he was forcibly grabbed by an octopus. Now, we have no idea why that octopus was there, who sent it, what it's all about. We have absolutely no idea. So I'm wondering if maybe in the shadow it might be a friend as well as a foe. I'm honestly the more logical answer that it's really just Perospero trying to climb back up after getting knocked down, but I don't know. We'll wait and see on how that works out. So now we see that Kaido decides to get into the execution of Momonosuke, and he has some big grand statement which is called the Onigashima Initiative. So it makes you wonder exactly what is kind of going on, what is this initiative, and he specifically wanted Big Mom with him as he makes this whole announcement. So it's already been publicly known, especially the world government should already know this. Big Mom and Kaido are now an alliance, so we already know this. It's already been broadcasted to the world via X-Drake. What exactly is going on here? What's this initiative here? And he's also intending to spice up Momonosuke's execution. Now, we know that Kaido did that same thing towards Oden, but I'm wondering if this whole spicing of the execution for Momonosuke, it will be Kaido's way of giving Momonosuke some sort of rite of passage, so to speak, because Oden was pretty much a man's man. Like, he was really all about it. And we never had the sense that Kaido hated Oden. It seemed like maybe I would even go as far as that he respected Oden a little bit, because Kaido loves strong guys, and Oden was definitely a strong guy. So now that he's seeing Momonosuke, which, let's be real, Momonosuke is like a shadow of what his father was. I'm kind of wondering if Kaido might do something similar to kind of see if Momonosuke can at least measure up to his father at least a little bit there. Not really entirely sure how that's going to work, but I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to happen. And even more reasons for the samurais to kind of like jump in there, because yeah, Momonosuke is not in for a good time. Now, lastly, we gotta talk about Yamato here. So with Yamato, there is one specific thing that I definitely do wish to talk about, and that's the journal. Now, in the chapter, we have Yamato pretty much explaining that, yes, she is a fan of Oden. That's been established since the last chapter. Everybody pretty much has been theorizing it, but now we have absolute evidence. But her reason for that is that she found Oden's journal of all his adventures. Now, this is a bigger deal than you might think, because keep in mind, the flashback with Oden traveling with Roger, that's all in his journal. Like, all of that's in his journal as well. So it makes you wonder, is there like evidence of the One Piece and what it is in the journal? Did they write it down in the journal or whatnot? Because if so, that journal is going to be a hot topic. Now, I doubt what the One Piece is recorded in the journal, but I feel like that's some hints towards Raftel and the treasure is also in that journal as well. So basically, whoever gets their hands on that journal, they're gonna have a lot of information. Now, I doubt Luffy's gonna get it because we know how Luffy is. Luffy doesn't want a boring adventure. He doesn't really want to know anything about the One Piece. He wants to be 100% surprised when he finally finds the One Piece. However, that's just Luffy. There are several other people that do not share the sentiment that could also probably make use of this journal, such as Big Mom and Kaido, because Yamato even said that their father doesn't even know that the journal even exists. And I'm pretty sure Kaido would definitely be able to make use of potentially how to get to Raftel, because I'm not even sure if everybody knows that in order to get to Raftel, you need to read all the poneglyphs. I'm not entirely sure if all the emperors exactly know that yet. But again, and for all we know, perhaps towards the end of this arc, Big Mom might be the one to get the journal, and maybe she might make use of this. Right now, I really want to pay close attention to where that journal is and where it might end up, because I really feel like it's going to be a hot topic somewhere down the line. And lastly, we have Yamato's reveal that he is really a she. So this is pretty much just the opposite of the whole Okiku reveal. My first question is, how come Luffy didn't notice? And I say this only because Luffy and Zoro noticed right off jump when they first met Okiku that that's a guy. That's not a girl, that's a guy. So I'm kind of wondering why Luffy wasn't able to tell that Yamato was actually a girl and not a guy. It's really, it's just one of those things I'm kind of wondering why he noticed there, but he didn't notice here type of thing. Was it because Yamato was a lot stronger for a woman or whatnot? Which again, might actually be because, again, she just one-shotted an awakened Zoan user, so that's kind of a big deal, even though she eventually got up like nobody's problem here. So there's a lot of things here that really want to discuss here, especially one particular aspect is Yamato knows Ace. Now we gotta talk about that for a good hot minute. How does Yamato know Ace? Well, we know that Ace has been to Wano before. That's how he met Tama. He's even given food to Tama's village to help them because they were starving at the time. Now, my first question is, how the heck did Ace manage to go into Wano and get out relatively unscathed? Because if we look at the timeline, Kaido's grasp on Wano was still firmly in his hand. Like, he still controlled that place with an iron grip. So how Ace was able to just go about his business and cause some wreckage and feed people there is really just amazing to me. And if I had to guess, that's probably in one of those missions to kind of help Tama's village. That's probably where Ace met up with Yamato and fought. Because if you remember, I believe it was in page 4 that Yamato pretty much stated that Luffy is just so stubborn and it reminds her of all the battles she's had with him. And we realized towards the end of the chapter that she was most likely referring to Ace. Now, another thing is that based on the timeline, the flashback, I'm pretty sure, I am like 70% sure that Ace was in Wano when he was still a Spade pirate. So there is a very good chance that we might see some hint of this maybe in the Ace novels. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. It's a potential possibility. I know Bocchi is writing it, the artist of Dr. Stone. So I don't know. Maybe we might see that. But all I know is that the next chapter, we need a flashback or something to kind of explain how these two people know each other. Because dang, that is a huge ball drop. And part of me suspects that her being a fan of Oden, it goes a lot further than just inheriting his will. I feel like there's something more to it, because when she mentioned to Kaido that she was a fan of Oden, he beat the crap out of her. And honestly, I couldn't blame him in his position, because I'm just like, you're pretty much saying you want to be friends with somebody that's trying to take me down. So the other reason about this that makes me wonder as to why Yamato is such a big Oden fan going against her father is maybe she's been looked down upon because she's a woman. I wonder if that's probably an aspect to it as well. I don't know, maybe Kaido secretly really wanted a son and kind of pushed that onto his daughter or whatnot. I'm not sure. I'm kind of curious to see how that whole dynamic went there. I really feel like part of her being an Oden fan has something to do with her having some kind of gripe towards her father, Kaido. Not really sure what it is though, but I would love to see some sort of expansion. I really feel like a flashback would probably help expand Yamato's full intentions along with her whole encounters with Ace. Now, one last point I want to bring up, and it's probably not that big of a point yet, but we got to consider something, is that how strong has Luffy become since his prison break training? And the reason why why I say this is because before I stated that in some of the earlier pages when he's fighting Yamato with the first elephant gun, we notice that Luffy's breathing a little bit heavily, so we get the impression that, okay, maybe he's tired, maybe he's getting exhausted. But then in the next clash, he causes a big explosion, which causes him and Yamato to kind of peace out to a private location and have a conversation. And in that page, I believe that it was in page 6, the way Luffy threw that punch before they clashed, it kind of looked at, I don't know if it was probably the arts, because his hand didn't look black, but it kind of looked like he was using a bit of Ryo, maybe? So if he has got, so let's just say for argument's sake that he has gotten that strong with using Ryo, like he's able to use it to that extent already. It makes you wonder, what does he have left in the tank? Because in the previous chapter, we see that he was about to go Gear 4th against Ulti, which to us, the fans, know that as of right now, Gear 4th is Luffy's strongest form / ability and power up right now. So it really, and he was about to use that on Ulti, so it makes you wonder, like, is he really strong enough to at least be able to contend with Kaido? Obviously not by himself. And lastly, don't forget, Yamato did state to Luffy that he hasn't even gone all out yet. Those were words that were said by Yamato to Luffy, that he has yet to go all out yet. So it really makes you wonder, how strong is Luffy really become, and what is he hiding? What does he have left in the tank? It's really interesting to speculate here. But it really makes me wonder, like, what is Luffy hiding? Like, is he hiding is it another gear? Like, I don't think we're gonna get Gear 5th. I still think it's a little bit too early for us to get Gear 5th. There's still a lot of exploration we can do with Gear 4th, especially with the several different forms, but I don't know here. It's really leaving a lot of things to be puzzled here. I can't wait for the next chapter. Unfortunately, however, next week, One Piece is indeed on break, so we're gonna have to wait 2 weeks to get some of these answers to all these questions, like how does Yamato know Ace? Like, I really feel like the next chapter might be a flashback pretty much explaining this, because they just dropped a huge bomb on us. They can't just drop that and not give some sort of explanation. Or maybe they will just leave it to the One Piece Ace novels. Who knows? I'm not like, anything could happen at this point. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. Hope you liked this video. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked it. By the way, we also have a Twitch channel. It's called twitch.tv/nerdent. Hey, come chill with us. Sometimes we talk about anime, manga, all that type of discussion live with several other people, of my friends and I. So if you like what you see, please feel free to give us a follow there, and we'll catch you guys later. See ya.